Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. This is episode 211. Right, John?
Yeah, I think so. Did you update that? Because I didn't.
Yeah, no, yeah, I did. I did.
All right.
I'm just messing with you.
All right.
As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and joining me is the biggest Wilson Contreras fan in all of the world, John Hansen.
Hey, look at you. Yeah. Well, not really a video game thing, but yeah, the St. Louis Cardinals signed Wilson Contreras, and I'm not. I think it's a good signing for this year. I'm not excited to have him for 5 years. That's a bit long, but
It
whatever.
just,
That's
it's just,
baseball stuff.
it's a weird. I don't know. I always find it weird when like a team has a really good catcher, right? Like the Cardinals, they've had Yadier
For
Molina,
18 years.
Molina, yeah, and like he was a really good catcher throughout his whole career. But then like the second he's gone, you're just like, all right, we got to go get another really good catcher right away.
It is also hard for no one was going to come close to Yachty. I mean, like I said, he's been our catcher for 18 years, so I'm also still getting through all that, I guess. I don't know. But that's baseball. Let's talk video games.
Let's talk about video games indeed. But before we do, I want to let you know to go follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out our pinned tweet there. You could join our Discord with the link that's posted in that pinned tweet. Check us out on YouTube at Pixel Street Videos by searching for that on the YouTubes or youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos. That's where we post all of our podcasts, Let's Plays, reviews. John posts some lists videos sometimes. Our pinned video on there is about how Mario, Luigi, and that whole gang got their names. So kind of relevant for the Mario movie coming up, right?
Yeah, it could be some interesting stuff. I mean, they haven't announced Wario and Waluigi in that movie yet, have they? That's like an
No,
end. That's an end credits thing, I think.
yeah, I feel like that's like a sequel thing, maybe. Like
Hmm.
like they'll be heavily in the sequel. In this movie, at some point, we see them maybe in passing somehow. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe. Okay, yeah.
We'll see though. But
Hmm.
yeah, go check out our YouTube channel for all that good stuff. This week we're going to be talking about how Microsoft has committed themselves and Call of Duty if this acquisition goes through to other platforms. We're going to talk about what character we think is more well known in two very large franchises, along with some of our most unsatisfying endings to video games, which I just read that for the first time. I don't even know. I'm going to have to think of something on the fly, I guess.
I
Um,
got some to fill the time while you think.
cool. Well, yeah, let's just get right into it. It came out very randomly last night, right, John? That like Phil Spencer just started tweeting, and it was
Yeah,
at like 9 o'clock last night or something like that, 9 or 10.
it was late last night. I think it was like 10 or 11. I think because I was stopping for the night, stopping writing, and I was getting like pings in Slack and everything, be like, "Hey, we need someone to cover this news," because like no one was around to do it. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll jump on and write about it."
But yeah, just to get right into it, this article comes from IGN's Adam Bankhurst, and the title is Microsoft has made a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo consoles. Um, Microsoft has officially entered into a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo consoles following its acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Obviously, this is like if it officially goes through.
Yeah.
Xbox boss Phil Spencer shared the news on Twitter alongside confirming Microsoft will continue to offer Call of Duty titles on Steam after the deal has closed as well. Um, his Phil Spencer's tweet last night just says Microsoft has entered into a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo following the merger of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard King. Microsoft is committed to helping bring more games to more people, however they choose to play. I'm also pleased to confirm that Microsoft has committed to continue to offer Call of Duty on Steam simultaneously to Xbox after we have closed the merger with Activision Blizzard King. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all the news. This article goes on to say that the last time Call of Duty was on a Nintendo console was 2013's Call of Duty Ghosts, which made its way to the Wii U. Since then, Nintendo owners have left behind have been left behind when it comes to one of the best-selling game franchises of all times. So yeah, I mean, this kind of tells us everything we need to know.
Yeah.
I think this is Microsoft's way of like trying to like prove that they don't want this to go fully exclusive, right? And I feel like a 10-year commitment, like I've been seeing tweets saying like, oh, like that's not long enough for one of the best selling. It's like, yo, let's
You,
like,
you have
if you
no
have a
idea what
thing,
things will look
yeah,
like in a decade.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know, like, what if in 10 years, like, I don't even know. Say Steam or Valve comes out with like a huge game, right? Say it's massive, like, and gets like kind of Call of Duty status in the next 10 years, right? And they
Hmm.
decide, you know what, Xbox, we don't want it to be on your console. Then Xbox can be like, well, then we're gonna remove Call of Duty from yours. It's just kind of
Yep.
like a leverage tactic in a way. Um, and I mean, it makes sense. You're not gonna commit like who the fuck like we just talked about a baseball player getting signed a 5-year deal with the Cardinals. He's
Hmm.
not. It's not like when he went in there, he's like, I want to be signed. Like, it's not like the Cardinals were like, we want to sign you to a lifetime deal. Like, for the rest of your life, you are going to be a card. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like, and the same thing would go for a video game, right? Like, Microsoft's not gonna be like, we'll commit to having Call of Duty on every other console
Forever.
forever. Like,
Yeah.
that just, I don't know. 10 years is a long time to commit to something that you own being on another
Yeah.
console, I think.
Yeah.
And
I
plus, with it being Call of Duty, like, the more consoles that's on, the more money it's gonna make for Xbox. So, and they've already
yeah.
shown multiple times that like they want their stuff to be anywhere it can be.
Yeah. Yeah. The big question that this brings up though is, what is Call of Duty going to look like on Nintendo Switch, which we already know has a lot of performance issues and everything, and with how demanding the Call of Duty games are these days, like we know there's gonna have to be some drastic changes in place for something like Modern Warfare 2 or Warzone 2.0 to run on this. Um, that's why in when I wrote about this last night, I made sure to point out Phil Spencer never says it the same game that releases is going on Nintendo Switch. These could end up just being remasters of old games, re-releases of those kind of things. I mean, we could still get those day and date Black Ops 5 or whatever it is that's coming out in a couple years. We could still get that on there as like a cloud game, because that's how Nintendo Switch usually gets around the hardware issues. They just stream it to the cloud. If anything, that's probably
I don't know, John,
the
because
only
like
way.
if a game like Apex Legends, which looks amazing on like Xbox consoles and PC, can run on the Switch, I don't see why
It
Call of
looks
Duty
like
can't.
crap on the
No,
Switch.
I'm not saying it looks like I'm not saying it looks
No.
good on the Switch. I'm just
Call of
saying it
Duty is
runs on the Switch fine.
the way Call of Duty is now, it's much more intensive than Apex is. I mean, Apex Legends has the file size thing that is up there with Call of Duty, but I just feel like with the crossplay and everything that they have worked into Call of Duty nowadays, I feel like that would be a lot more work to get that to run natively on the Switch.
I mean,
But we'll see.
crossplays in Apex too, though.
Is it? When did that
Yeah,
happen?
a while ago.
I think that's a pretty recent thing, if it is.
I'm looking. Hold on.
Okay.
No, yeah, you could
Um.
play Apex Legends crossplay. This was from, let's look, like September, July.
Okay. Yeah, that's recent.
Hey, but it still works on Switch.
Yeah, I guess. Um. Yeah. Uh. Graham Milikai on the YouTube chat says his guess is the Modern Warfare reboot could come in 2023. That's a really good guess. I mean, that's a game that's already out for a while. Um, Treyarch, no, not Treyarch. Infinity Ward could work to get that working on the Switch, I guess. Just anything like that. What I would really like to see is like the original Black Ops games come back on there, and maybe they just do something like that, like a remaster or not like full blown remakes or reboots like the Modern Warfare series is going through right now, but like just bringing those games back and re-releasing them, not just on the Switch, but everything. I mean, Black Ops One is still my favorite Call of Duty. I would love to play that again on Xbox and everything. Get access to that on a Nintendo Switch on the go. That'd be awesome, and I'm sure a lot of people would be into that as well. Even though playing first-person shooters with the Joy Cons isn't really that great, but you do have the Pro controller option and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that they could get it working on the Switch. It's not going to be easy, but I don't see why they wouldn't be able to, in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
Given like
Yeah.
all the other like Overwatch runs on
Oh,
there. Granted, Overwatch is not as technically heavy as that, but like I don't
there's
know.
gonna there's gonna be a lot of sacrifices to get it to work on there, but no, they could definitely get it to work. It's not something that would be ready in 2023. I don't think, with how this was just recently announced and the deal isn't even all the way through. But it's probably something that now all the Call of Duty developers can like start to think about. It's like, hey, while we're working on this next game, we also have to keep in mind a switchboard, or maybe they just hire a new. They they might just take one of those developers because there's like 10 different companies that work on Call of Duty games now these days. They could just take one of them and say, hey, your
Make it
sole
work.
job your sole job is just for this to run on the Switch. That is all we want you to do. So maybe that's what they do.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I think we can both agree that like this is just a kind of PR move on Microsoft's front to like
Oh yeah,
to
this is
just
to be
like
like, hey, PlayStation, we promise that we're bringing it to your platform. Look, we're already bringing it to Nintendo's. Yeah.
it just I don't know. I feel like it makes Jim Ryan and PlayStation look even worse in just like because Microsoft is coming out and saying all this now, and it's clearly just to try and move the needle back in their favor, in terms
Hmm.
of I forget what the thing in the UK is that was like that kind of like put a halt to this acquisition recently, right, in the past few months. But yeah, it's just their way of kind of balls it back in your court, PlayStation, right? Like we're showing right here and now that we have a deal in place with Nintendo and Steam to bring it over there. And then I forgot to pull it up, but Gabe Newell, the owner of Valve and Steam, he said that he's like all for Microsoft making this acquisition, which is even
Hmm.
funnier to me because like Gabe Newell is another like he's like a mammoth in gaming, right? Like in terms of like ownership, because like Steam, clearly the biggest like PC like online platform for buying games. It's absolutely massive, and the fact that Gabe Newell, who like, I bet you could argue that Steam is a bigger platform than PlayStation is in some ways, and the fact that the
Yeah,
because I mean think there's way more PC gamers
they're
probably than
different.
so. Yeah, I know they're different, but still the fact that like the head of more or less PC gaming, right?
Yeah,
In a way, because they kind of have that market cornered. Not so much anymore, but the fact that he's like for the acquisition is like making Jim Ryan from PlayStation look even worse.
yeah. Well, we've talked a bit in the past about how PlayStation does have some to lose in this deal. They lose that exclusivity timing. They do kind of lose out on the just like general conception that Call of Duty is a PlayStation title, because that's just pretty much the general conception for the past decade or so. Um, Even though it never has been a PlayStation title, that's just with all the
Exactly.
marketing and everything, they can pass it off as that. So that's really
But
what Sony
here
loves to have on their side.
here's my thought process though, is if this deal does not go through, you have to imagine that Microsoft is going to do everything in their power to make that marketing deal go in Xbox's favor once Sony's deal is up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
is
maybe.
say Sony has another 5-6 years left on their deal to market, to put PlayStation at the end of every Call of Duty trailer. You have to imagine Microsoft is gonna pay whatever money they need to pay if this deal doesn't go through to make sure an Xbox logos after those trailers.
Yeah.
So either way, they're gonna lose that aspect of it. I
Yeah.
think.
In all honesty, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just tired of talking about this,
I know.
and
I just want to.
I'm
I
ready
don't
for it
care.
to. I
Be
don't care
over.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
Just get it over with, so I don't have to hear about this every other week. Well, Sony's saying this. Well, Microsoft came back with this, and something FTC and everything. I'm just like, man, just get it over with. Like, let me figure out what I'm gonna get on Game Pass and just get
Exactly.
back to talking
Like
about other things.
obviously, I would love the acquisition to go through because Game Pass, the best deal in gaming by far. Me and you are both subscribers to it, so that only means good things for us, right? Especially as
Hmm.
primarily Xbox gamers ourselves. But yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. It's like every week, every other week, there's something new. Granted, this week this was bigger than most weeks, right? Like this news was bigger than like last week, and they're just like, oh, Jim Ryan had a quote that said he doesn't want the deal to go through again. Like, oh, big surprise. Head of PlayStation doesn't want an exclusivity deal to go through, huh?
Yeah, that. Yeah. Okay, let's move on here. All right. So we are right now 1 day ahead of the Game Awards. So it is really slim pickings on news. So I came up with a couple topics for us to talk about in main topics. Um, First one I came up with here is, which of these characters do you think is more well known? And I'm not talking just about gamers because every single gamer will know these guys, but Mario and Pikachu. If you were to just like walk down the street one day and just pick out random people, they could be on their deathbed, they could be 3 years old, and you say, hey, do you know the name Mario? Hey, do you know what a Pikachu is? Like, which one would get more recognition out of those?
I think Mario,
You
personally.
think so? Okay.
Because like in the grand scheme of things, me and you like we're older, but we're not that old. But everybody older than us knows who Mario is, 100%. Right? Like most of those people will know who Mario is in gaming. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but
He's kind of like the OG icon for any video
well,
game.
yeah, well, yeah, he is the video game icon. That is his whole deal, and it's been that way since the '80s. The one thing that makes me hold back though is Pikachu has. All right, we know the Mario movie is coming up, but Pikachu has the anime. It has Pokemon cards. It has the games, of course. It's got all these other things, and it is the biggest. Pokemon is the biggest franchise of all time. It has made the most money ever, beating out Star Wars and Hello Kitty and all those other massive things. Pokemon is huge. While everyone older than us is like, oh yeah, Mario. Yeah, I remember playing Mario on the NES. Uh, us as their kids since the '90s, we've been like, oh yeah, look at this Pokemon. Yeah, this is Pikachu. Look at this, and that's carried over into kids today. My daughter collects Pokemon cards. She's 10 now. She's been doing that for like 4 years now, and like that wasn't something that I got her into. That was just she wanted Pokemon cards on her own, and like I didn't even know about it until like she had like 5 packs or something, and she asked me for them one Christmas. Like, it, Pokemon is just so massive that I think Pikachu is probably more well known than Mario.
I don't think so because like you go into stores still and you still see Mario stuff there.
But
Like
you
you go
see
into a
Pikachu
Target.
stuff as well.
Yeah, but Mario stuff has been in stores longer than Pikachu stuff.
I don't know. I also think there's more Pikachu stuff than there is Mario. Like I don't like you can go down a random aisle and be like, okay, there's a Pikachu stuffed toy down there. There's not many places that will carry like a Mario stuffed toy.
Every
Uh
Target. Every single Target.
I don't go to Target, so I don't know. But like you like I said, you there's like with the cards and the anime and everything, like there's all these things for Pikachu to be more revolved around. We got Detective Pikachu, like a Hollywood movie. Like I know we've got that with Mario coming out, but like still, it's like I just feel like
John, there's a study. I found a study.
is there oh hell
Yeah.
yeah, man.
A study has concluded that millennials are 16% more likely. This is just millennials, by the way.
Okay.
16% more likely. Okay, who would you think millennials are more likely to recognize? Pikachu or Mario?
I think Pikachu.
Okay, let's keep reading. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I just
All right.
are 16% more likely to recognize the most iconic video game characters like Mario, Pikachu, and Sonic than some of the prominent politicians of our time. What the fuck is this article?
Oh,
Well,
what is that article? I like it.
okay, no, I don't like this article.
No,
I'm
keep
backing out
going
of this
on.
article.
Keep going on. I
Okay,
want to know.
I didn't read the title of the article. You want to
Gotcha.
hear the title? This is
Yeah.
actually like super fucking bizarre that this is true. But it says millennials are more likely to recognize Mario and Pikachu than Hitler and Putin.
Yeah. I get that.
Let's see. Reddit. We're going to Reddit now. Who is the most
Okay.
recognizable mascot worldwide, Mario or Pikachu? Let me pull this in front of me.
Okay.
When Donkey Kong and Super Mario Bros. Got released, it revived the video game industry and allowed Nintendo to become the major video game publisher it is today. When Pokemon Red and Blue was released, with the Indigo League anime and the trading card game soon after, this created a worldwide phenomenon known as Pokemania. It was an event covered all across the news networks, which is an aspect we hadn't even talked about. Like, even when Pokemon Go launched, like, that was
Pokemon
on the
Go.
news everywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Mario has never had something like that.
Dude, Mario Run, bro. Come on, it was all over the news.
Oh yeah.
Parents and grandparents everywhere would notice their kids' new passion as they got invested in the Pokemon world. It might be easy to give the title to Mario given his importance in the history of gaming, but don't forget that Pokemon's impact isn't just limited to video games. Mario didn't do quite so well in the department of movies and TV shows until this new movie, of course. And the Pokemon series continues with its anime and yearly movie releases to this day. I will leave my thoughts in the comments below. Let's see. Somebody says, at this point, we're just reading comments because I want to hear what
Yeah.
they have to say on it. Mario, because he's emblematic of the gaming industry as a whole, which I think is pretty true, in the way that Mickey Mouse, even without much media presence, is emblematic of animated movies in general and Disney in particular as a mascot. Somebody says, fun fact, Mario is now apparently even more recognizable than Mickey these days. That should tell you something right off the bat.
Maybe because they just don't really make. I mean, they still make Mickey Mouse cartoons, but they don't like make movies and stuff with him anymore. So yeah, he has kind of. He's kind of just known as being like the mascot for like Disney World and Disneyland, right?
I
Like
think so.
he
Yeah.
doesn't have much these days.
Yeah. Um, Somebody else says Mario. The thing that tips me over the edge is that during the Olympic closing ceremony, Mario was chosen to represent Japan. Granted, there's a large chance, even if Pikachu was selected, there could be some licensing and permission issues. However, if you're looking for a global audience and want something iconic and recognizable, the Olympics is the place to do it.
That is true. Mario did have a presence with the Japan Olympics, and it probably would have been pretty big if the pandemic didn't hit. But there was like also some other weird stuff with that, wasn't there? Like Nintendo backed out of the Olympics or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Stuff was happening. I did just post a poll on our Twitter at Pixel Street. Go ahead and go over there and leave. It's just which of these video game characters is more well known in your opinion. Go ahead and vote in that, and uh, maybe next week we'll come back to this, and if there was enough people that voted, and we'll settle this discussion because I'm all in on Pikachu being more famous,
So,
but
so, so
Joel's in
some
on Mario.
somebody makes a good point. Pokemon as a whole is iconic, but Mario as a character is iconic. Is like more iconic.
No, Pikachu is.
All right,
like
John.
like
John,
when no, hold on. Like remember how like when we were kids and like your grandparents or your really old parents would say something like, "Hey, go play your Nintendo." And you're like, "No, this is a PlayStation. This is a Sega Genesis." That's pretty much like the Pokemon thing. Like, "Oh, where's your Pikachu?" No, that's a Charmander. It's a Pokemon. Like that's kind of the same thing there. Like every Pokemon to them is a Pikachu.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No. All right, final closing thoughts. Who is more iconic, John? Mario or Pikachu? And
Pikachu.
why?
I can't say this enough. Like it's just Pokemon is a massive thing. Pikachu's face is all over that. Um, it's a memorable mouse, yellow mouse character that lets out electricity. More people are going to be drawn to Pikachu than they are Mario because, like, also the cuteness factor in here. Pikachu a lot more cuter than the
I
mid-age
that's where I have
Italian
to
plumber.
that's where I have to cut you off because Mario very cute. Mario most iconic
Now hold
mascot
on.
in gaming. No, hold on, John. Most
We're talking
iconic
about
mascot in
sexy.
gaming.
If we're talking about sexy, I'll give you that. But Mario is not cute.
Oh, he's cute, dude. He's a little dude, like 3 foot tall, cute dude.
Yeah.
And that's that. That's all we're gonna have about it. No more
All right,
discussion.
no more. We're done with this. Instead, we're gonna talk about. Just to let you know, so far we have one vote on our poll, and Mario is up. So you're off to a good start here. All right. What are some of the most unsatisfying endings you have ever experienced in video games? You know, when it can be whatever, but like you're playing a game, you're really enjoying it, you're nearing the end, and something happens, whether it's in the story, it's a boss fight, just a general ending in the game, like something went there that just kind of makes it fall flat. Um, if you need me to, Joel, I can list off quite a few here.
Um, I don't. I can name something that I don't like in certain games, which I brought up to you the other night when we were playing God of War. Is like when you're in the middle of like a puzzle in a game, and like I told you this in God of War. Like you walk into a room, you can tell it's like a puzzle area. Like you got to solve something. You have to do
Hmm.
one thing and then another thing to open a gate or something. And you get in
Yeah,
that room, and 5 seconds later, they're like, "Hey, maybe you should look over at that thing." It's
yeah,
like, well, shut the fuck up.
that's not really this topic. That's a different topic. But the one that springs to the top of my mind because this is one of my favorite video game series in the last let's call it 14 years. Batman Arkham Asylum has one of the worst endings possible for a
Never
Batman
played it.
game. So the game itself is amazing. You're going through Arkham Asylum Island and you're taking out all these famous Batman villains. And at the very end, you're about to take down the Joker, and he's got this Titan formula. It's kind of like a knockoff Venom that Bane gets that makes him so like hulking strong. But Joker's been like shooting it into random thugs along the way to make them like really strong and stupid. And he shoots it into himself. And the final boss fight is you playing against this giant Joker who's like all muscly. For some reason, he has a mohawk and he looks awful. Just look up the Arkham Asylum final boss for me,
I'm looking at it right now.
and it's it's so odd and weird. It's like so not Joker and everything.
Yeah, doesn't
Yeah,
look like him at all.
that one's pretty bad. Also, Fable 2. I absolutely love the Fable series. Fable 2 is amazing, and it's my favorite game in the series. But oh my god, it has an awful ending.
I
There
don't
isn't
remember.
even.
I played it. I don't remember the ending though.
So the ending is you've been going through this dozen-hour adventure, fighting all these creatures and everything, and you get to the final boss in the spire, and you've got all your friends there, and all that happens is you pull out a music box that like freezes the bad guy in place, and you shoot him once and he falls to his death, and that's the game. Or
Oh damn.
if you don't shoot him, if you just stand there and sit there, one of your companions pulls out their gun and shoots him and ends it for you. So woohoo. That one was pretty bad. I had some other ones. Mass Effect 3 comes to mind for a lot of people, although I've never played that myself. Um, shit, what? I had more. Have you thought of any?
Um. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, Borderlands 1. Like you go through the whole
Borderlands
fucking
1 is super
game
good.
to get to the vault, and then you don't even get to
Hmm.
see what's in the vault, which
Yeah.
is pretty lame.
Did have they ever shown what's in the vault besides monsters?
I have no idea. I just
I
remember
remember at
Borderlands
the
1, the monster
time,
comes out.
I feel like they've always done that, but I do agree with you. The first time that does suck because I think they were like building up to it to be a like really cool thing. Um, I can't remember though. It's been so long since I played that first game, and I'm not going back to it.
Yeah,
Uh,
the ending of Halo 2 is kind of lame.
Halo 2 is very lame.
I
That
think
ending.
I think the gain on your mic went up significantly, John.
That better?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, Halo 2, you're just like you're going through this like awesome like shoot up and everything, get to the end. All right. What are you doing up there, Chief? Sir, finishing this fight. Boom. Like,
Yeah.
uh, are we doing this? No,
Dude,
we're
I'm not
not.
gonna lie. I do love those last levels when it's like a race in the Warthog.
Oh yeah.
Those are fun. But yeah, the way that was like the last thing, and they left
Mhm.
that cliffhanger for Halo 3 is pretty lame.
Yeah, although Halo 3 is still the best game in the series and that ending is awesome. Like you said, the Warthog race to escape. There's quite a few. Trying to think of some others. Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. I remember that one being kind of lackluster, but that one you fight against Sauron, but he just kind of goes down easily if I remember right. He just kind of dies really easily, and it's like, wow, that's the guy that's been destroying Middle Earth forever now. Banjo Kazooie. As much as I love Banjo Kazooie, it has some really bad endings in both, actually, in all three of their games. Well, the mainline games, they have bad endings. The first one, though, you're working your way up Gruntilda's lair to get to her and save your sister Tootie, and then it like turns into a trivia game at the end, and some of the answers are only available to if you had talked to an NPC that appears in specific spots around the world. And every time that you do this, it's randomized. So it's like not even the same answers. You have to like actually pay attention to it or just get lucky with your guesses, which is
That's
awful.
lame.
It's really lame. Um, yeah, there's been some doozies out there.
Yeah, I can't really think of any. Nothing is really standing out other than Halo 2 is the one that stands out for sure for me.
Hmm.
And Borderlands, I only remembered once I saw it on a list of some of the worst endings.
I feel like there's one I had within the last year or two, but I can't really place it right now. Of course, when we get out of here, I'm gonna remember it right away. But yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. But yeah, if you are watching, let us know in the chat some of your least favorite endings. Otherwise, I think we're good to go on the quick news.
All right, quick news. I'll read them off this week. Yuji Naka has been arrested for insider trading yet again. Didn't we just talk about this? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
It was a couple weeks ago. So Yuji Naka, uh, creator of Sonic, created Nights in the Dreams, Fantasy Star Online, Balan Wonderworld.
John's favorite game.
Yeah. Um, he was first arrested for insider trading on a Dragon Age game. Now he's been arrested for insider trading on a Final Fantasy game. So yeah, that's not good. So we'll see what comes out of that.
Yeah. Moving on, Elden Ring's Coliseum update arrives with 3 new PvP modes. Didn't I think that came out today or tomorrow? I'm not 100% sure.
I've seen people talk about it today.
So yeah, if you like Elden Ring, which a lot of people do, there's new PvP modes to play. I
Yeah,
mean,
Joel, get on that.
I don't like Elden Ring, but I am excited to see like TikToks and like Twitch clips and stuff of people playing against each other, because like you see the ridiculous videos of people like fighting these really hard bosses I want to see how that translates to two people just rolling around on grounds, avoiding each other's attacks for 10 minutes.
Exciting.
Diablo 4 early previews are coming out, and they are very positive. So,
Yes.
big surprise,
Yeah.
huh?
Well, I mean, it's good news. I mean, that's awesome.
There was a leaked release date.
Yes, I posted that in our Discord. Of June. I don't remember exactly what day the leaker said, but yeah,
June 5th, 2023 is the tentative. Maybe we see it at the Game Awards tomorrow.
That's kind of what I'm thinking with early previews going out today and that leak news like being out there now. Like I definitely think that we're getting some Diablo 4 news here tomorrow.
Yep. Halo Infinite has had a massive winter update. This update added a playlist for the Forge created version of The Pit from Halo 3.
Very excited that they got that out so fast. Like
yes.
I was like a lot of their other things in Halo Infinite, I was expecting that to not make its way to the game until like spring or summer.
Yeah, because they just showed it at the HCS Championships like a month or two ago, month and a half maybe. And they also brought early, which is another surprising thing from the team making Halo Infinite, the custom games browser, which is fucking crazy because it came 3 months early, John. It wasn't supposed to come for another 3 months. It's a little janky. I mean, we tried it yesterday, me and Will, but I think that's just because it had just come out yesterday and everybody's trying to hop in and out of custom games. But yeah, pretty cool. Will was stoked because he made in Forge canals from Gears of War, which I think you might have seen while he was working on it.
I felt
and he saw in the custom games browser there was like a full match of people playing on it, and that map was also featured in like a YouTube's like community update video, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, Halo Infinite. If it's not installed on your console and you're listening to this and you like Halo, I think now's a good time to give it another shot. Like check it out.
Hopefully 343 starts working that workaround magic that it did with MCC years ago.
Yeah. Jedi Survivor will be shown at the Game Awards. And there was a leak from the Steam page that says it's coming out March 16th. I'm very excited. I like the first game a lot, so I'm stoked to check out the second one. Xbox game prices will go up to $70 in 2023, starting with Starfield and Redfall. This isn't really surprising. It's kind of the new industry standard right now.
It was only a matter of time, but this only makes Game Pass a better deal.
It does, unless like these games don't feel like $70 games. You know what I mean? But yeah, we'll see. And Forza's on that list too. The next Forza. Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 1 came out on Sunday. It has new skins including Doom Guy from Doom, Geralt, how do you say it? Geralt is going to be in the game later on in the season as part of the season pass as well. And it brought a lot of new features from Unreal Engine 5, which is super cool. I hopped into a game yesterday, and it looks really fucking nice. There are screenshots all over Twitter. Go check it out. Yeah, I don't know. I've been playing Fortnite lately, so I'm stoked about this.
Cool.
And that's gonna do it for quick news.
Right.
You have a collectible, John? I have something to show off. Not really collectible, more like a tech thing.
I do not.
Here's what I got. So there was like a Verizon wireless deal for half off of an Elite Series 2 controller. The core one, which is this one guy right here, the white one. It's kind of hard to see, but
it looks good.
Yeah, I don't have Verizon, but some dude, I was on a website and he's like, "Yo, I got an extra code I'm not going to use." So I used his code, and then another guy's like, "Hey, I also have one I'm not going to use. Here you go." And I gave it to Loops, so Loops ordered one. And then, so this is the core version, which it didn't come with back paddles or the charger or the case. But I bought on Amazon replacement sticks because I like the taller stick as my aiming stick. And then the blue D-pad and the blue back paddles. So, yeah, I'm excited. I love my Elite controller, and my Halo edition my Halo Infinite one, the Y, like the bottom left back paddle, like I don't know if it sticks or what the deal is, but I notice I have to press it really hard for it to switch weapons, which is annoying because I use it all the time. So, and
Okay.
I'm afraid to send that one in to get repaired because I've heard nightmare stories where they're like, yeah, I sent my limited edition console in and got back a standard Xbox Series X. So I
Ooh.
just don't even want to risk it.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, I don't have anything.
But yeah, that controller, I got it for only $65, which is a steal.
That is a steal. Pretty much the price of a regular controller. All
John,
right.
let's move on to what we're playing because I've been playing more Pokemon and I see you have as well.
Yeah. I right now I have 6 gym badges and I have taken out 3 of the Titan Pokemon and 2 or 3 of the Team Star guys.
Okay, right now I have three gym badges, two of the Titans, and one of the Team Star bases complete.
Cool.
So you're
Yeah.
you're a little bit ahead of me, but I don't know. Once I feel like once I get rolling in this game, like right now, I think I'm just starting to get rolled.
Mhm.
I'm just starting to get going, right?
Mhm.
Um, Once you get your Pokemon leveled up higher and higher, it starts to feel like you have like this god complex, right? Where it feels like the game almost gets easier and easier. Um,
Yeah, the thing with this one is you don't know what order you're supposed to do them in. So, like for example, I did one gym that was a little over leveled for me, but I still beat it barely.
Same.
And then I went back to another one that apparently that ended up being like 15 levels below me. So that one I just like wiped the floor with. So I was like, oh, I should have came here first. But yeah, I do wish that there was some level scaling for that. I think that would make things a
especially
lot better.
especially with it being open world, you would think that
Yeah.
like I I I really wish that the way they did it is like, all right, whatever the first one you go to, right? Because you can go to any of the eight right away. Whatever the first one you go to is like the his Pokemon will be level this to that. The next one will be level this to that, a little higher, and just kind of keep doing that. That way you could do it whatever order you wanted. But yeah, I definitely get that sense of like, I went to one yesterday and it was super hard. I tried it twice and failed both times, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go just level my Pokemon a bunch for like an hour, and then I went back and I ended up beating it. So
What I do love though is I am losing battles in this game. I right
yeah,
before we I lost a battle against Nemona, the
I
rival.
I think it's Nemona.
Nemona. Okay, I lost a battle against her, and like I'm like, oh my god, it's been so long since I've lost a Pokemon battle against an
I typed
AI.
in how to say pneumonia on Google, and
Oh
it says how to say pneumonia.
no, yeah, no, pneumonia. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm I'm still enjoying it. I've also been catching a lot of Pokemon for guides and stuff because I've been doing guides for like where you can find them and all that stuff, how to evolve them, and I'm getting close to 200 Pokemon caught. I think I'm in the 180s right now, which is really good for me because usually I get my one team and I just move forward with just that team. But no, this one I've been swapping them in and out. Like I haven't even used my starter Pokemon in a long time. Like I put him in the box like at like level 25 or so. Um so yeah, I haven't even touched him since then, which I never do. Usually I'm like you. I remember you saying like, "Oh, that guy stays in my party in the entire time." That's how I used to be. Like Pokemon Sword, I went through that entire game with just my score bunny and like that was all I used and won it all. Uh, this one, I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna make some new parties up.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like I keep my starter Pokemon in there pretty much the whole time. I switched them out for a little while just because like I knew that I needed different Pokemon to beat a gym battle just because the type it was. But then right after that, I immediately brought him back. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm at a point right now to where like I have a good variety of Pokemon in my team in terms of their type, so I don't feel the need to switch any out in or out. That's usually something I just do like if I start getting bored with like the move set and stuff, or I feel like one Pokemon is like way underpowered than the others in terms of like, I don't know. Say I have a Pokemon that has to get put out there because all the others are dead, and I notice that every time that happens, that Pokemon's like just getting slaughtered, or like
Mhm.
his moves are super weak. That's the only time I really switch out. But I typically like to catch like as many as I can. Like as soon as I see a Pokemon that I don't think I've caught, I go up to it and try and catch it right away, and just put it straight to the box.
I'm a little. One thing I'm doing right now that I'm not gonna do again in the future is I'm trying to get a Larvitar and a Noivern. Um, so I have a Pupitar and a Noibat right now, and I've had them for a long time in my party, but because they're not at those really powerful final stages in their evolution, they're kind of underpowered, and it's hard to
Yeah.
get them to level up right
I
now.
mean, the good thing is that like you get the passive XP too, right?
Yeah,
So if they don't even do
it's just
anything,
they get more if you battle them. So
yeah.
I do that, and then they faint, and then I'm like, "God damn it,
I
John, you
one thing I
idiot!"
will say that I love is just being able to hit. Is it just like the? Is it not
The
ZR, just
auto
R?
heal.
No, I don't. What's the auto heal? What's that?
Oh, you press X to bring up like the menu, and you press minus to auto heal Pokemon.
I didn't know that, but no, no. One thing I like is that when you're running around, you can just hit R, and it just throws
Hmm.
out
Under the
your
battle,
top
yeah,
Pokemon, and they just start battling and get XP for it. They don't get as much as
yeah,
if you battle, but you could do a lot more battles real quick that way.
yeah. I need to start doing that. I keep forgetting that that's a thing, except for when you're in the Team Star camps, which I'm like, those are kind of lame.
I
I'm
think you can
not
only
a big
throw
fan of those.
one out when you're not in the Team Star camp.
Yeah, you throw three while you're in the camp, but I'm not a big fan of those. Whatever
Yeah,
though.
I mean, it's kind of just like a thing that they added, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's an open world game. They got to add stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying the game so far. It is still janky as hell.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And
like
ugly.
the one thing I hate about it the most is if I want to go from point A to point B, I literally like I can't look away from the screen at all because if you're riding your cycle, because there are some Pokemon that are like 6 inches tall, 1 foot tall, you
Hmm.
don't see them until they pop up and they're like 2 feet in front of you,
Hmm.
and so
Well, not even
like
that.
it, it
While you're just on your rideable Pokemon, the game will pop in Pokemon. If you're going too fast, they'll just pop them in like right in front of you. Like I've
yeah.
had large Pokemon just appear in front of me and start a battle. I'm like, I didn't want to fight you.
Yeah, it like in most open world RPG games, I guess like that. Um, if I'm running in a direction, I can look away for a second and like I can check my phone while I'm holding the thumbstick. But in this game, you literally cannot because you're just gonna get caught up in a battle with some random Pokemon you don't care about.
Hmm. Yeah.
I really hope whatever the next game is that they get this shit figured out. I really do hope because this game would be so much better if it looked acceptable most of
If
the
it
time.
ran fine, I mean, yeah, I'm tired of like starting a battle with a Pokemon and its low poly form. Its low poly model is right there in front of me. Like
Dude,
that looks
so,
terrible.
something that happened to me earlier is I saw a Pokemon. I was like, oh, I don't have that yet, and I was riding, the bike Pokemon. I forget what I don't even know what their names are, but and I saw it. And I was like,
Koraidon
oh,
and Koraidon.
I was like, oh, I don't have that one, and I rode into it, and then the battle was with a completely different Pokemon. It's like
Oh,
the
nice.
game like had in the wild one Pokemon, but it was like, oh no, actually it's this one. Our bad. You were moving too fast on
Mm.
your Mon.
I have it where I'll walk around and I'll like accidentally enter a village when I see a Pokemon I want, and then it disappears. Like, and it's like
Oh
5 feet away
yeah,
from me.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I've
That
also
is the worst.
I've also had it where I started a battle and both Pokemon just started floating into the air. They ascended. That one was pretty funny. It I There was another one where I sent out my Pokemon, the enemy sent out their Pokemon, and the battle menu just never popped up. That was fun. I just couldn't do anything, so I had to restart the game. Yeah, that's annoying.
Pokemon, man, Pokemon.
Yep.
Something else I've been playing is I started Need for Speed Unbound. Oops, sorry, I had to burp. Um, it's fucking cool. I'm into it. Like it kind of reminds me of the old Need for Speed games that were great back in the day. Granted, it's still like cheesy as hell. Like
Mhm.
I don't know how else to explain being cheesy in a Need for Speed game. Um, but I haven't played a Need for Speed game in a long time, like a long time. But everybody on Twitter and in reviews and stuff were saying that like it seems like this game feels like Need for Speed is going back in the right direction in making it feel more like Need for Speed than like the last 4 or 5 iterations of the game have been. And I saw that and I was like, okay, I'll download the 10-hour trial that you get if you have Game Pass um, for EA Play, and I've been enjoying it so far. I don't know. It's just like it's dumb. I understand that it's dumb, but it feels like an actual Need for Speed game that I used to love playing. Like when I was younger, I used to play every Need for Speed game, like Underground 2. Um,
Hot
I
Pursuit
almost
was my favorite, but
yeah, Hot
I also
Pursuit.
had Underground too. Yeah, that was great.
Underground 2 is my jam. I love that game, but yeah, it definitely seems like they're moving in the right direction to make people care about Need for Speed again. Cuz they're I don't know, the last 4 or 5 iterations of the game, they've just come out and I'm like, "Oh, new Need for Speed game, cool." And then I just like went looked right past it on to the next thing. I think the more self-aware they are in like not trying to infiltrate like the Forza Horizon market, right? Because that's like the standard right now for an arcade racing game. Granted, it's like kind of simulation because like the cars are all like tuned how they would be in real life and stuff. But I don't know. It's fun and like it's kind of comic booky. Like you can pick what color your smoke is that comes out of your wheels, and it is animated like you're in a comic book in a way or like an anime.
Hmm.
Um, it's really cool. Same with your avatar. Your avatar looks like a cartoon, like a comic book cartoon. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Um, it's dumb. It's fun, and most importantly, it's dumb and it's
Oh, yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Those are the two things.
I downloaded the trial, but I haven't given it a try yet. Maybe I'll
Oh,
do that.
and it's based in Chicago, which is really fucking cool.
Cool. I finished up God of War Ragnarok, and holy shit, that game felt like a chore to finish. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Overall, it's great, and the ending is 100% worth it. I'm not gonna spoil anything. That ending is great. The whole like final chapter of that game is just absolutely great. Uh, I I just really wish that they didn't make you play as Atreus. I wish those parts were just completely cut out of the game. There's like parts of the story that they actively spoil and like totally reveal early because Atreus knows about it, so you know about it. So when you get back into Kratos, he doesn't know about it, and then they reveal it like it's a big thing, and it's like I don't know. I'm that there's one very significant thing there that they spoiled that I was like, man, that would have been so much better if I didn't know that going in.
That's
Regardless,
interesting because like I've also been playing God of War. I haven't beaten it like you have, but um, do you think it would have been better if they didn't spoil it in Ragnarok, but then there was like a separate game the size of Uncharted Lost Legacy, where it was just the Atreus missions, or if that was like a DLC, where you kind of went back and saw what transpired?
I would have been fine with that. Yeah. I said the same thing about Last of Us Part 2. Is like the Abby stuff, like this could have been a different game altogether, and I would have been fine with it. But that kind of, I guess I'm just not a fan of that kind of dual storytelling or something because like I really respect both games for what they are, but I feel like that kind of storytelling, that kind of like, okay, we're gonna take you out of the main character here and show you the perspective of this also very important person, and it just kind of feels disjointed. And I also just Atreus has the worst levels in the game because he's not Kratos. He's a completely
Yeah,
different character, and his
he's still a kid.
his combat is not as good as Kratos. I don't care what anyone says if they like
Um,
Atreus or not.
I do think that The Last of Us Part Two did that kind of dual, um, like
That
playing
one
through
they at
one and
least
then
are
the other.
like
It
the
was a little
same.
better.
It
It
was,
was it was a little better. Like I don't remember at least thinking anything was spoiled to me because I played through one person and then the other, right?
hmm
Um, but yeah, that kind of sucked. Like I can kind of understand. I don't know exactly what you're referring to as was spoiled for you, having known it playing through Atreus, but um, I mean, it's not really a spoiler to say that Atreus and the Giants, right? Like the Giants could tell the future because at the end of the first God of War game, they kind of knew the whole journey Atreus was going to take. And when Atreus finds out more stuff like that, obviously, and he finds out without Kratos there, then that's going to spoil the game in one way or another because of these, like, I don't know, stories the Giants have told.
well, a big theme around the game towards the end is just the meaning of fate and can you change it or not. That's like the huge that's like the huge thing with the game. Like the whole back half of it is just that. That's the main thing. Okay, we know what is supposed to happen at
Okay,
Ragnarok.
don't say anything else
I'm
because
not I'm not
I'm
saying
at a
anything more.
I'm at a point right now to where I feel like if you say one wrong thing, it's gonna spoil the whole game for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I enjoy the combat and everything in the game.
hmm
Um, I do feel like it's dragging on a bit already, and I'm like halfway through the game.
That's what I'm
Feels like
saying. It felt
feels
like a
like there's a
troll.
lot of fluff. There's definitely a
Mhm.
lot of fluff in it, right? Like I just did a mission. It was basically an escort mission I just did the other night, and I was like halfway through the mission. I was like, all right, I gotta be close to the end of this mission, right? Like, nope. You just like walking through. It's not the mission I play as Atreus, John. It was the one after that. But I was just like walking through woods and stuff. I'm like, okay, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
Mhm.
why did they make it so far to get to the destination? Like, there's all that's in between me and there is like two puzzles that aren't hard to solve. I solved them right away, and just like enemies here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna talk about God of War Ragnarok quite a bit with our end of the year game of the year discussion, which will be the final show of 2022. But we'll talk about it more then. But as for now, it's probably best to stop.
Yeah. John, tell me about Overwatch's new season.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 Season 2 started yesterday. It brought a new map called Shimbali, or yeah, I think it's yeah Shimbali, and it introduced a new tank called Ramatra, who has some very significant part in the lore, and he's going to be a big part of the story next year whenever that comes out. Very exciting character to bring into the mix because he is like one of the main antagonists, but he also is really close to Zenyatta. They have like a whole history behind each other, so like hearing their interactions with all these different people, love that part of Overwatch. But yeah, Ramatra. When everyone first saw him, they thought he would be completely broken, but he's not as strong as everyone initially thought, or at least he's really hard to get that use out of. I've only been able to play one match with him because when you queue up as tank right now,
Everybody does.
everyone does it. So like the wait time on tank right now in roll queue is like 12 minutes.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
while the damage and the support ones are like 1 to 2 minutes. So I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not waiting that long. Once everything cools down there, they'll drop back down and things will get back to normal, and I'll play him some more. But yeah, he's awesome, a lot of fun. There's a new battle pass that is all themed around ancient Greece. Some really cool stuff in there. It's some good stuff. They also lowered so if you buy the battle pass, you still get Ramatra right away. Um, in season one, to get the new hero, you had to get to level 55 if you were playing free. They dropped it down to 45, so that's good. Some people are wanting it down to like 30s and 20s. I'm I'm whatever at the moment, but I also bought it right away, so I guess maybe I'm the wrong person to talk to. Yeah, Overwatch is
I
still
think
awesome.
I have enough coins to buy that already in
Oh
game.
yeah,
So
you bought the Watch Point pack, and you
yeah,
you had enough. Yeah. So yeah, it's I love Overwatch. It's really great. I'm gonna be playing a lot more of it. I've been playing with my friends who I got into the game recently are really digging it, which is awesome. I have people to play with regularly, which
Yo, I'll
is
play. I'll play. I'll play.
oh yeah, really? Yeah. Like
I
all
do
the
want. I
friends,
do
hey,
want to
you wanna
play.
play Overwatch? You're like, nah, I'm gonna play Destiny. Nah, I'm gonna play Warzone. Nah, John, I hate you. You suck. I'm gonna play Halo instead.
Hey, all those games are good. Okay.
They are good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we are going to end episode 211 of the Pixel Street podcast. As always, thank you so much for watching or listening to the show. Give us feedback in the comments below. Rate and review us, good or bad. We want any feedback we can get to make the show better or worse. We're going to make the show much worse. You can also join our Discord by following the link in the description of this show and becoming a part of our growing community. So yeah, we'd love to have you on Discord. New Mario Kart maps just dropped today. John's looking for people to play with. If you want to play Mario Kart or any other multiplayer game, really, like me and John are always down to play games. So join the Discord and hit us up on there. That's probably the best way to get a hold of us. Yeah, follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street and YouTube.com/Pixel Street Videos. John, where can people find your writing?
Well, you can find my writing on GamePer.com. Still doing some Pokemon guides on there. Uh, Crap, I forgot his last name. The Australian editor for GamePer, Luke, he was the one on our team that got early access to Diablo 4, and he put up an editor feature on how much he enjoyed it, and some of the stuff he had to say was really good. Here, I'll just pull up the last things he said. He said, "If you're a fan of Diablo, then this is going to tick all the right boxes for you to get excited about. Diablo 4 encapsulates that highly addictive combat system the series is known for and bundles it up in a dark and gritty world. Just make sure you have a spare mouse or controller on the ready nearby, as you might burn through the buttons." So, yeah, go ahead and check out what more he had to say about his early time with the game. And also on Twitter, I am at Revix Shadows. And like Joel said, Mario Kart tracks are out. Hit me up on Discord, on Twitter, whatever. I'll play. Also, we're gonna get some Halo custom games in
Yeah, we
eventually.
got to.
That stuff is just too fun to pass up on.
Yeah. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Campos63 or twitch.tv/Campos63. We will be right back here next week with episode 212. It's a palindrome, John, of the Pixel Street podcast.
Bye.